Internet. I want you guys to think about these questions before we begin. What would you like to get out of your sexual encounters? Do you want intimacy? Do you want pleasure? Do you think that you need toys? Have you tried sex toys? Are they good? Are they not? What do you want to know about sex? What is it that you want to know about yourself in terms of sex? Do you feel like you know enough about your anatomy to pleasure yourself? Those things, just think about those before we begin. And now, hi Internet, how are you guys doing?
What an intro. Hey, Internet, how you guys doing as well?
Yeah, how you doing, Chris?
I'm doing pretty alright. And now I'm thinking about your questions and
Good.
wondering where this episode is going today. So I'm looking forward to this right now. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Okay, well, obviously, our episode is about sex.
Sex.
It didn't need
The
an
echo?
echo.
So what about sex are we talking about today?
Specifically today, we're going to be talking about masturbation.
Interesting.
And how important it is.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
First, let us think about our anatomy. Do you feel like you know enough about yourself to pleasure yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, and do
I
you
do.
feel like people in general know enough about their anatomy to pleasure not only themselves but their partners?
Not all the time, because some people have had experiences where they've like have bad lovers who are only in it for themselves, type of
Exactly.
thing. I think nowadays people know how to please people, each other and themselves. I think as people are a little bit more open about their sexual desires or what they want, because you need to be kind of open if you're having sex with somebody, unless you're just new to it as a sort of thing. I don't know. Maybe there's still
And
stigma
you
around it.
would think that, and like you just said, there's still that stigma or this taboo when it comes to talking about sex.
True.
We think probably because we see it and people are so like living it up and sex is everywhere and sex sells, they say, and we just see it on screen all the time. We're always constantly hearing about it and stuff. It's like, but are we hearing the right thing? Is the conversation about pleasure? This what we're talking about today is about pleasure, not just about sex. Just because you had sex doesn't mean that you're having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So in America, women are significantly less satisfied than men are. Also, women practice masturbation at significantly less levels than men do.
That's strange. I mean,
there is also a taboo around women satisfying themselves.
I mean, that's been around for a long time.
Exactly. And it still kind of is.
It's so weird to me because I honestly thought that a lot of stuff nowadays is like women are feeling more free to talk about their sexual experiences and just like, hey, I like to jerk off. I got some dildos in my room, whatever, right? Because, like, yeah, I've got my hand and I've got my meat in my pocket, and when I need to go and get my stuff on, I'm going to go and do that. Like, so if girl wanna have her thing, get your shit on, man. Like, just go nuts.
There are even statistics I've seen this. It says that 1 in, I think it's 5 women has a dildo.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's great, but still, it's like still seen as
like a bad thing or like
right.
And
on. There's a lot of history. So let me just firstly, I keep saying first. This is like third. We're going to get back to dildos because dildos play a very important role in all of this.
Yes.
Before that, let's talk about which countries do you think are the most sexually satisfied in the world?
Um, I'm gonna take a guess. It's probably some Latin American country,
I
maybe,
see, because you think that they are maybe more progressive sexually.
or maybe a little bit more free, I guess, or
I
maybe
see.
some European country that I haven't thought about.
That is, you're going in the right direction.
Okay, so not Latin America, some European country. Um, is it somewhere
I'm not
in
asking you to
Africa?
guess. I have a list.
Oh,
I have a list of the top 10 to 12 most sexually satisfied countries
and
in the world.
this is less of, this isn't about people who are having, this isn't like
No,
most
this
sex. This is
isn't
about people who are most pleasured and satisfied with their actual sex.
exactly. So even in these places, though, people say that they have had, most people will say that they've had sex multiple times a week,
Hmm.
or you don't even know. In Brazil, I think was one of them. They'll say, oh, they have sex every day of the week. Some people have 1 to 3 times a day of the week.
Okay.
Some people it's once a month. But what it's about is
Satisfaction.
exactly, and there's a measurement. Should I give you that measurement first?
Yes.
So, this is how they measure the sexual satisfaction based on these things: mutual love and respect between partners,
Hmm.
freedom from stress, ability to orgasm, freedom from sexual dysfunction,
Yeah.
good mental and physical health, and frequency of sex and foreplay,
Yeah.
and having an exciting sex life.
Hmm.
So, those things come into play. Those are the drivers, okay,
Criteria.
of
Okay.
how it was measured in this study.
Okay.
So the countries go like this. I looked at a couple of these and they had number 12 and number 10 kind of interchanged.
Oh.
So number 12 is China.
Okay.
Partly because they have so many people.
Well, yeah.
But they do say that they have great sex. They're satisfied.
Okay.
Okay. More, it says over 70% of the sex toys in the world are manufactured in China.
Well, I mean, it's China. Over
Well,
70% of
yeah.
everything is manufactured in China.
Well, yeah, but that's one of the things I saw for them. Germany is in 11th place.
Okay.
32% of Germans admitted to having a one night stand, and
Okay.
they're happy. Okay. Next is number 10, Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says,
Okay.
although at number 10, Nigeria has been rated the number one sexually satisfied nation
Okay.
by the condom manufacturer Durex.
Well done. Well
Yeah.
done, Nigeria.
Apparently, 67% of the population claims that they have attained sexual nirvana. So it's serious,
Wow.
and it just gets
Wait,
better.
not just satisfaction, nirvana.
Exactly.
Sexual nerve. What the heck does that look like?
I don't know.
I want to know.
Next, we have Australia,
Okay.
with 75% of Australians having admitted to having sex on the road. Okay, just anywhere.
Okay.
And they're getting it on. They're getting it on well.
Wow.
Okay. India is in
Okay.
8th place.
Hmm.
And even though in India they have sex relatively later,
Because
in
of
terms of
marriage and
age,
stuff
yes,
like that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. They still reported high levels of satisfaction.
Okay. Good old
Um,
India.
Next is Mexico.
Okay. Okay.
And
This is number 7?
yes, it says what helps is that sex work has been decriminalized in more than
Oh,
half
okay.
of the states in the country.
I see.
So that helps. Number 6 is the Netherlands.
Okay.
I
Okay.
believe that the Netherlands was the first country to, what was it? The first country to legalize gay
Sex. Oh,
marriage
okay.
or
Same couple.
same couple marriage, and they also, I believe, have decriminalized
Yes.
sex work. So Netherlands is just doing it. I think Netherlands has been known for a long time to be really open and like liberated though for
That
just
type of way,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Number 5 is Greece.
Greece. Wasn't expecting them on the list.
Weren't you?
Nope.
Have you ever heard doing it like a Greek god or a person being a Greek god?
Oh,
This kind
okay.
of
The
has
whole
to
Greek
do
god,
with
Greek goddess type of trope. Okay.
yeah. That kind of thing. Should I just read it? It
So,
says,
so they do it like the Greek gods. So they're like Zeus, and they just kidnap somebody who just does it with some animals.
what are you talking about?
Just
Please let's not get all into the history or the myth, please.
my bad.
Okay. Next, like I said before, we have Brazil.
Brazil. Okay, yeah, I was thinking Brazil when you were like asked me the first thing.
Yes. So Brazil is one of those countries. People say that they, sometimes once a week, sometimes 3 times a week, sometimes a day.
Uh-huh.
All right, they're doing it and they're enjoying it as
Yeah.
well. Next, we have Italy in 3rd place.
Italy.
And you know what? Before I looked at this list, I thought Italy. You want to know
Really?
what?
Why?
Yeah, because I just think that, first of all, I think that Italian men are very handsome. They're just, they are. I think you knew that though. That
I
I
knew
felt
this
that.
about you.
We won't
Yes.
talk about why, where that comes from. But yeah, Italian men. I mean, I guess their women are something
They're
as
okay,
well.
but
I don't care about them, but yeah, and just the way they talk. And anyhow, I think for a long time, Italians have been seen to have a very sensual or
yeah.
sexualness to them, but they also report that they are satisfied. So there's something there,
There's something there.
Yeah, it says 64% of Italians are satisfied with their sex lives.
Well, damn.
Yeah. In the 2nd place,
Who's the 2nd place?
we have España.
Oh, really?
Spain, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, fair
It says
enough.
social acceptance of gay marriage, check. Handsome guys, check. Sexual satisfaction, double check. In a recent poll, 15,000 women across the globe prefer Spanish men.
Cheese on
Mine is
bread.
not Spanish, mine is Italian, but the women have spoken.
The women have spoken.
Moreover, more than 90%, Christopher, of Spanish men and women admitted to being sexually satisfied. 90% of the
Damn.
population they're getting on,
That's nice.
isn't it? And
Who's number 1?
drum roll. Although I don't think it needs a vote, but I mean, thank you. Switzerland.
Oh.
And I did not even,
wasn't
I did
expecting that
not
at all.
picture Switzerland,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
Me neither.
So I was a little like, what? It says, is it the picturesque landscape? Is it the romantic Yashrav movies, which I don't know what those are? Is it the sex education programs that start from kindergarten?
Oh.
Which I think is probably a little too... But you know what? If they're teaching anatomy and that it's okay and stuff like that, then it's fine.
Instead of like...
There's a way to teach about sex.
Yes.
But they don't do it well in most parts of the
Instead
world.
of being all weird about things that kids can clearly see and then feel
Right.
as they grow older and start being weird about it, if you like ingrain like actual proper knowledge and education when they're young and older, yeah.
And it says that the person who wrote the article that I got this from, they considered this statistic the best part. They say 32% of people have admitted to having sex in public places. Yet, the country has one of the lowest teen birth rates in the world. So their kids are not getting pregnant. Their kids are not getting STIs or STDs. They're using protection. They know what to do. And They're enjoying themselves wherever they feel like. So there's something there.
It might be in the cocoa,
Why
Swiss
would
cocoa.
I mean, okay, I've had that Swiss chocolate. It's not, it's not that good. It's got a little too much milk for me.
Hey,
Whatever. Maybe it's not a real thing, but whatever. And so those were the countries
okay.
that are most satisfied. Notice how nowhere on this side of the world, I mean, there's only Brazil,
Brazil and Mexico.
right, and Mexico.
No,
And that's
no USA, no Canada, no Caribbean
exactly,
countries.
exactly. The people are stifled. They need help.
They need stifled. Ah,
Yeah.
it's probably because of the approach to sex and
Right.
how
Let's
people view
talk
it.
about this.
Yeah.
So, one of the major things that came up when I kept looking up into the research is that the sexual education
Mm-hmm.
in schools is lacking
Yes.
significantly in this part of the world and maybe in the Eastern Asian countries, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
some African countries. There is not, they're not talking about consent. They don't talk about contraception properly. They don't talk about how your body works, where things are. How many freaking holes does a lady have? They're not
Where the
taught the
hole
anatomy.
actually is.
Exactly. The anatomy they don't teach properly.
Mm.
They're not calling things what they are:
Mm.
vagina, vulva, phallus, or penis. They're not teaching things properly
Mm.
in school to kids.
They leave it up to when you like hit like the last few years of school to
Right.
then
And by then
pay
children
attention.
have done
And you've
things.
already known, like especially in this day and age too, with the access to the internet and
Exactly.
how you gain hell. Even me, my first like I remember the first time I came across like pornographic material. I was like 13 years old on a computer. And I believe it was a computer that was being fixed at our house or something like that. And I came across it because I walked into the room, and that's when I was like, then that popped into my head, and then I grew
Hmm.
curious about stuff, and I went and searched stuff on the computer. But this was a way back when searching for that type of stuff on the internet was completely a terrible idea and would lead to viruses on your computer. But nowadays, it's so much more easy to just pop across anything online, willing or unwillingly, in a video or a YouTube or things. You're just watching a video and then something pops out and you're like, what the heck is this? And younger, you're going to have to start explaining things to your
Right,
kids.
right. I think that it all starts really with education.
Yeah.
We should not be telling kids, oh no, don't do this, don't do that. It's bad. Don't tell them not to look at their private parts. Don't tell them not to touch their private parts.
They're going
It's
to.
it's part of their body.
They're going to.
We should not be like demonizing a person looking at themselves or
Yes.
feeling themselves, discovering about their own body.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we should all be doing. We should advise that you do these kind of things, you know?
Because I remember my when I was coming up in high school and stuff like that, and my social studies teacher was actually a priest
Hmm.
who was at from the local church, but he was super like open about like for he used to do the boys section, right? And he used to teaching the boys in social studies stuff and teaching about themselves. It's like you could tell that you're starting to produce sperm when you pee. You see the foam forms. That means that you're producing sperm. It's like you're going to start feeling a lot of like you like girls and like boys or whatever. You're going to start feeling feelings for people.
Right,
And he's like, it is fine to masturbate.
right,
Masturbation is one of those things that you're going to come across. You're going to do it, and you're going to feel the need to do it. That is fine. Your hormones are going to take over. It is fine. It is a natural thing to do. And
agreed.
he was only one of the few like religious people at that time that I legitimately like knew who was actually saying that type of
Hmm.
stuff. But I guess he's a teacher too, so he has that whole like I have to teach these kids exactly what's going on. So yeah, that type of like simple understanding, like, hey, you're going to start feeling a certain way, you're going to have these things going on in your life, and you're going to want to touch yourself or you're going to touch others.
Mm,
Just keep it keep it in your home, be clean, be tidy, and if you need help and want to ask more questions, come and talk to him.
mhm,
That
mhm.
type of reinforcement of that, it's not weird.
Right. It's not
Everybody,
weird. It's not bad. And well, not necessarily everybody, because there is asexual people who
yeah,
don't
yeah,
feel
yeah.
any desire.
So, but yeah, so I think that that approach to teaching kids about themselves is probably should be far more upfront and honest.
Agreed.
Instead of being so weird and scared and being like, oh, they're teaching kids this thing in school, all these things. It feels like it always comes around. I remember when, like, parents would be upset or surprised when something is being taught in school, and then fast forward a few years and I'm this year's old and the same shit is happening. Parents are surprised and upset when something is being taught in school or
This is
whatever.
what I think.
It's so weird, man.
Teachers don't need to teach their opinion on something.
Hmm.
They need to teach what is.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the reasons why I actually wanted to talk about this is
Yeah.
because of the whole abortion bill and
Yeah.
what is going on actually.
Yes.
That stemmed from why I wanted to bring up all of this.
Hmm.
And there's these, they're fighting for different laws and what have you, but one of the things as well was the don't say gay bill.
Yeah.
And even that whole, what was it with the history and teaching it, or not teaching it rather,
What?
the
Oh,
history.
you mean that the CRT nonsense type thing?
Yeah, critical race theory,
Right.
that as
It's
well.
not
So
really a thing.
I think
It's so silly.
all of these things culminated,
Uh huh.
and it just got me to thinking, but it all really boils down for me to education.
Yes.
If our kids are not educated properly,
Hmm.
how are they going to know what to do?
Sometimes it feels like the reason why certain people don't want kids to learn or understand something is like they want to keep people stupid.
I don't
It
know.
feels, I don't know, sometimes it honestly feels like how they talk about, oh, the schools are teaching and they're changing the values of the kids, because as soon as people get a little bit of knowledge and understanding about certain things, then they start to think, and they start to think like, what, we should probably fight for laws that are a little bit more inclusive of people,
Inclusive,
or like
exactly.
actually cover more issues, or not put down people, or not like, like the abortion that was, now they're apparently trying to get rid of because women can't choose now.
Yeah, and that also brought up another thing. This has to do with sex trade is what we're going to call it.
Ah, yes.
So there are a lot of places, like I mentioned, the Netherlands, and I believe that Germany is also a
Mm-hmm.
country. There's even places in Australia and New Zealand, and even in America, in Nevada,
Mm-hmm.
they have, well, in Nevada, they did not decriminalize it, they legalized it.
Mm-hmm.
So those two things are different. I I feel like sex work should be decriminalized.
Mm-hmm.
It's work, right?
This work.
It's not even like a
It's the oldest
funny.
profession in the world,
That's what
Kimberly.
they say. And there are people who are in it and they don't want to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we need to do something about that, because this is just gonna go on a whole other topic.
Go on, keep talking. It's called rambling tea time for a reason.
If we decriminalize sex work, the workers will be better protected.
Mm.
They'll have equal rights. They'll actually be not arrested when they report a crime or a
Mm-hmm.
crime against them. Especially, they do not, a lot numbers of them, they don't report rapes.
Yeah.
because they work in the sex industry. Who is going to believe them?
Exactly.
Plus, they'll be arrested for doing that work.
Yeah.
You understand? It's like the system, it doesn't work.
It does not, because it's one of those things that is, of course, looked down upon. If you're doing sex work, then you probably at the bottom, or you had no choice, or you were put into it, or you're doing something, or you're looked
Of
down
course, there are
upon for
people
anything like that.
of course, there are people who don't have a choice. We
Yes.
need to help those people so that there needs to be some means, some way for them to get out of it.
Yes.
You understand? I mean, if we decriminalize it, not only will they not be penalized if they, report things to the police, they won't have that kind of thing on a record because there
Yes.
won't be a record because there's nothing to criminalize, right? And then they can actually, I don't know, apply for loans, to maybe start a business. They can't even do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They can't get proper health care. I mean,
a lot of people can't get proper health care in
yeah,
this country. It's
yeah.
ridiculous.
But I even read this thing that sometimes when sex workers are arrested, or if the police come by or wherever it is and check up or whatever, if they have condoms on them, that they'll be arrested.
Just for having condoms on them?
Yes. Does that make sense to you? And that then it's like they are trying to protect themselves in doing that work. They already have clients who are like, they don't want to use this slip. It's like, what then how am I supposed to protect myself from STIs or STDs? What you want from me? And then there are instances where the police take bribes, or they sexually abuse them as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
So this is, I was going to say, let's decriminalize sex work. There is a distinction between legalizing it, and I found this out as well. In terms of legalizing it, there would be rules and regulations, but that goes into what a person can do with their body. That would then be stipulated.
Yep.
And that's where the tie-in comes from me with abortion.
Exactly.
Because they're going to be, if they legalize it, there are going to be certain rules and restrictions that speak about a person's body. And that's the reason why we are fighting to not even, have this whole thing in its third place. What is wrong with the world?
The world, well, I could just say America just seems to be like...
It's not just America.
It's not America, but we're talking about America. We're talking about the abortion bill. It just seems that sometimes, like, the people in charge claim to be looking out for those people who voted them in and whatnot. And most of the time, it is just... There is a very powerful fuck you, got mine mentality with how people behave sometimes, especially here in the States. So you have your politicians, they say they're going to do something, and I will give credit to those politicians. They worked hard and they waited for years and years and years to this point where they realized that it hasn't been codified. The Democrats have not decided that they're going to do anything to make sure, all these years, to make sure that it's 100% codified into the law. And they just left it there, and now look at it. They're like attempting to get rid of it because they have the people in charge who they can try to pass the law.
Yeah.
It's a very like, we're going to focus and we're going to do this thing somehow and do it. Even if the majority of people do not want it. If a majority of the country does not think that is the right thing to do.
Right.
Because we have the people and we will choose to vote them in. And then they're telling you that, if you make a big stink of it, you have no decorum or whatever, anything like that. But fuck decorum.
Fuck decorum.
Like, fuck decorum. Because if you are going to use the law to bend and break your population and beat them over the head with shitty laws and terrible things, and like just not being unavailable to get certain resources to them, then eventually it's going to break. People are going to break. It's not. You can only beat a dog so many times until it gets up and walk away, or just turns its mouth on you and bite you. And eventually something will have to happen.
Maybe by the time this episode comes out, something will have happened.
Maybe, hopefully, they haven't passed it, or it's got shot down, or maybe some people who decided that, hey, maybe the people sending me a bunch of like outside my house and whatnot are probably correct, and I should probably not do this. But
besides abortion, let's go away from that for a while. One of the reasons that I also saw come up for the taboo surrounding sex and masturbation was morality.
Oh.
And religion and values and beliefs or something like that.
I'm pretty sure that many people have many beliefs about many different things, and they have many morals and about many different things, but just because you're a little bit open about sex and understanding what you want from it and pleasure and whatnot doesn't make you any more a moral like renegade or anything.
Exactly.
Like whenever people bring up the religious angle, I'm like, if God hated sex, why did he make it so good? Why did he make it feel so good? What's the friggin' point?
I saw something similar as well. A lady was saying, just because you can reproduce with these organs doesn't mean that it's the only thing that they're there for. Because there are people who believe that, they're just for make babies or something. It's like
those are the poor people that you can see.
Why when they get brushed up against a little then and the stimulation feels good, why that then? Why? Exactly.
I don't know. People have this whole idea that being religious is all something to do with being like pure, and your God or gods can see you. They can see you doing it. There are many tales of them in whatever religions or what are doing it. I mean, come on.
They are.
It's
I
there.
also read that because some people like to say that sex is dirty and what have you, because it reminds them of their animalistic nature. Or something like that, and they don't want to be seen in that way since we're spiritual beings. We also sexual beings out here.
Look, tell me the amount of times you spend being a fucking spiritual being. Tell me when you go outside of your body and you are enjoying your spiritualness.
Astral traveling.
Yeah, tell me, how often are you a spiritual being? Tell me, Kimberly.
Aren't I? Here's the thing though. I keep saying here's the thing, but here's the thing. Why can't we be a spiritual and sexual being at the same time? We are physical, but we also have a soul.
Exactly.
And you know what? Sometimes
the soul wants what the soul wants.
Exactly.
The soul wants to bang right now.
Exactly. They say though that those things are separate and those are carnal desires.
When somebody can show me a soul out of a human body and tell me that it's separate, then I'll believe.
This is what I have to say. There are needs that one must fulfill, satisfy to be happy.
Yeah.
To be content. After, I think it's that guy. There's Maslow's needs hierarchy.
Hierarchy of needs. I know what you're talking about.
I don't think that is how it necessarily goes. But the first two were like, you need food.
Yes.
You need shelter. You understand? You need safety. those are like at the
Very.
bottom. So food and shelter and safety protection, those are the like in the first two. And after that is like sex, love, fulfillment, relationships,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because after you
You,
well fed
yeah,
and you
protected.
you you got a roof over your head, you clothed and what have you, you got a good stable job or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. After that you start thinking, I wanna, some people are like, I wanna feel good.
Yeah.
I wanna share my life with someone,
Uh huh.
right? So that's where the romantic and the sexual
Yeah.
comes in. So I think that those are also things that one wants to, satisfy. And
Exactly.
we're out here like, no, a person must not. And
The worst thing is that those same people would then be like some super closet pervert that you don't know about, and then you see
exactly.
them get arrested on the news for some terrible
And
thing.
this is why I say,
Bunch of hypocrites.
do not, don't try to repress
Mm-hmm.
yourself sexually.
Exactly.
Okay? Because a lot of harm comes from that.
Exactly.
If you wanna jerk off, do it.
If you
All
want to
right?
jill
If
off,
you
do it.
if you if you find out, oh my goodness, you're a furry, or you have some kind of fetish, as long as it does not harm you, it is not dangerous to yourself and other people,
Mm-hmm.
then have fun. Do not put other people in danger is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. Don't put yourself in
And
danger.
don't break any goddamn
Don't
laws.
break any laws. Goodness. There are so many things out there though,
Yeah.
right? So if you want to explore, there's so many
There's so
things.
much to. There is so much sexual stuff out there to enjoy and to find your own personal kink and pleasure. Do not allow the world to tell you that you can't do this because of some random moral reason or some religion or
Right.
some other thing. It's like, no, you are your own self and you need to make a decision about what you need and what
Exactly.
you want and what pleasures you desire.
It's important that a person discover these things for themselves first.
Yes.
So I don't know, maybe you're in high school and you learned about, sex education. You
Mm-hmm.
went home and you did some discovery, you know?
Discovery.
Um, you find out those things about yourself. Find
Yeah.
out what makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Then, when you get a partner, you're able to tell them, I like it this way.
I like
Don't
it
wiggle
that
this
way.
way. That's not good for me, Or, if we both put on this vibrator that I found online, the vibrators for both partners, all kind of
Yeah.
things, right? You have to know yourself first. That's what they say. And it's
Yeah.
not just about your mind. You need to know your body
It is
first.
a good it's a good thing to tell people to, like, because I know some people are shy or whatnot. Maybe you probably never had something with somebody before, but it's still good to figure out what you like.
I never had nothing with nobody before, and I know what I like. And we should talk about the benefits
The
of
benefits.
masturbation.
Masturbation. It's really for fellas though, it's actually kind of very helpful. Doctors have realized that it's good to not keep it backed up.
Hmm.
You know, it is good to get a release every now and then if you can get a release, because I know not everybody is able. And it's actually very good to release because I think it lowers chances of cancer. But you should still check yourself. Like,
Yes.
seriously, check, make sure that anything down there is nothing wrong. There's trials and stuff that you can check online. For me, it is a stress reliever.
For many, it
It
is.
is a very good way to calm down after a very stressful day. I said calm down and I realized that was a pun.
That's a
But
good pun. That's a good pun.
but yeah, find what you like online.
It doesn't have to be
It doesn't
online,
have to
and I
be
don't. I
online.
don't want to say that.
But find what you like. Sit back. Lock your doors, because sometimes some people seem to, I know this has happened to some people, that the moment you want to start, somebody knocks on your door and you're like, Jesus freaking what the heck right now? But Make sure that you're free, nobody should bother you, and just enjoy yourself. Just relax.
I would say I don't want to talk about the porn industry since I don't know that much, but I did do some research and found out that the porn industry kind of made dildos when they were coming up seem bad, and that's one of the
Really?
reasons why it has a hard time shining its light today.
I don't think dildos have a hard time.
Oh, I
Shining their light.
looked it up.
I see them everywhere.
Okay.
Kim just give me a light, like, why you see them everywhere?
Good for you.
Good for me.
But yeah, I don't have anything to say. Um, I just want the internet to know themselves.
Know yourself.
Yeah.
And you can know your enemy, Sun Tzu.
Okay, again. What is wrong with you?
I'm just messing with you. But yeah, I agree. It is 2022. We hope you get to know you and what you like to do. I just realized I rhymed.
It was a good rhyme.
It was a good rhyme, I agree. But yeah, but people need to be, and I think more people are realizing as well that it's fine to masturbate. It's fun. You don't need a partner for everything and everything. It's fine.
I just remembered I wanted to say something else.
Speak.
I would like to propose a bill myself for institutions that help people to pleasure themselves. We're going to call them pleasure parlors.
I swear this is actual thing from somewhere else.
It must be. I don't
Maybe
care
just a shorthand
if
for
it's
brothel.
called Soapland. It won't be doing the work that Soapland does, but we'll definitely have happy endings. There, okay? It'll be an institution where we have workers who help people, if they're starting out. There'll be different levels. You know what I mean?
Level. Okay.
It'll be great. It's all about masturbation and pleasuring yourself and knowing how to pleasure your partner.
sounds
You
like
can
it
go
could
in
be
for
a course.
couples. Exactly. Wouldn't it be great?
College course.
And when you come out all looking refreshed and you meet Bob Jean, who's your friend, and you're like, oh my God, you come here too? And then Bob Jean's like, I checked out the one downtown and they were good, that guy. He had big hands or whatever. They use this really hot gel that makes everything tingle, and then you're like, well, you should try out this place because they have some amazing devices.
You've already written and you've seen your plan come through in the future, and you have already buildings with places that you want.
I imagine it now. It's pink, the building. Pink and purple and blue.
Purple and blue. Okay.
Maybe those colors don't go well together.
No, they don't.
I don't know. I'm not the one who does it. But yeah, and like you're talking about some good restaurant, you give it a great review on Yelp, and you be like, yeah, this is a good place. They really helped me out. I know what I like now. I know different parts of myself. I really am able to do it my own, and sometimes I even go about when I don't want to do it myself.
This sounds like one of those retreat places but for sex. Like instead of going for like a spiritual awakening, you go to this place for a sexual awakening. You just like go,
and that's okay.
And there's seminars, and
there should be,
and there's practice, and then
and you know what? It shouldn't be an outrageous amount of money.
Yeah,
it really shouldn't. It should be government funded.
Government funded. The government's never gonna fund something like this.
Well, the government is stupid. That's why they're not decriminalizing sex work, because they don't understand how much profit they could be getting for free. Dumb. Stupid. Anyway.
But the morals, Kimberly, what would the kids think?
Excuse me? What about poverty? Anybody got any morals to save those starving children? What about famine? Anybody want to help those people who are dying?
What about the climate issues?
What about climate change? Huh? Anybody got any morals for those? No. But when it comes to things like, oh my God, we can't talk about sex. Well, then fuck you. Or not, I guess, because we aren't. Dry.
You are on fire tonight.
Anyway, we should accept ourselves as sexual beings. There are people who are asexual and they do not care about that kind of stuff. Of course, they are a minority, but for those who are, it's okay to explore, all right? It's okay to touch yourself. It's okay to do different things. Just don't think that it is anything bad or negative. Because it isn't. It's normal.
Yeah,
it's your body.
Exactly. It is your body. And you should be able to have fun with it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
That's all I have to say as well.
Okay. Was there a disclaimer on this episode?
No.
Oh. Well.
You just put 18 plus
right.
in the title.
Yeah. Although I think that there are kids younger who, you know,
most of the
they
stuff
are
you should
practicing.
learn,
They're practicing younger than 18.
There are kids younger than me when I was coming up and they were practicing. I was like, excuse me?
They're doing things that I only heard of, and I was like, I'm never gonna do that. Especially not at school. What the fuck? But we're not gonna talk about that because that is a story for another day, okay?
That is a story for another day.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't want to even talk about sex in school. Lord have mercy. Save the planet.
That's your last message to people.
If you save yourself, then that's good enough. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.